Stetson Bennett. He's old enough to be my father.
Stetson Bennett's career here has been full of obstacles and triumph.
He's been a lot to me personally because of what he's gone through and what he's put up with. One of a kind. He's a special football player, and he should get many opportunities to keep playing.
One of the coolest stories in all of football, not just collegiate football, but I'd say all of football, is the story of Stetson Bennett, the quarterback of the national champion Georgia Bulldogs, well, for the last 2 years. And it seems like he's got himself into some trouble because he's officially been arrested. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! The last time this happened, every single subscriber that rode with me ended up making bank. PrizePicks is once again giving us a free square, which means Joe Burrow needs only 1 passing yard or more for you to fulfill his square, which means if we make 1 more correct pick, then we 3x our money. But I'm feeling really froggy and I have a plan for us to 5x our money. Step 1 is you need to go right now in the description down below and sign up for PrizePicks using my promo code Mikerophone. When you do that, they'll match your deposit up to $100. Once you deposited your money, ride with me on these picks. Because the last time I made picks, we ended up cashing with the free square. We're gonna do Joe Burrow more than 0.5 passing yards because duh! We're gonna do Travis Kelce more than 0.5 receiving touchdowns because, well, that's kind of also duh. And finally, we're gonna do the same thing for Jamar Chase. Because at the end of the day, if Joe Burrow's having a good game, usually Jamar Chase is too. Let me know in the comment section down below if you're tailing me for this one. And if you want to see additional picks that I'm making for the weekend, make sure you're following me on Instagram. And thank you, PrizePicks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The story of Stetson Bennett is a very unique one, as you'd see many memes online as a result of his story. Stetson Bennett first walked on to the Georgia Bulldogs in 2017, but he would lose his job to Justin Fields, who was a Georgia Bulldog at the time. He would then transfer to community college before returning to Georgia in 2019 and would serve as Jake Fromm's backup. That's how long Stetson Bennett has been on the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, 2021 was when Bennett's entire life changed, when he went from a relative unknown, unless if you're a hardcore fan of the Georgia Bulldogs, to a household name, when he was the quarterback of the 2022 national champion Georgia Bulldogs. Now, granted, this wasn't a team that was successful primarily because of Bennett. Georgia essentially had a pipeline to the NFL with its defensive talent, and following the 2022 championship, there was speculation about whether or not Bennett would return. After all, he was 24 years old at the time, which at the time was the same age as Josh Allen. Well, he would return for his final season this past year, and he would even put up better statistics than the year prior. Leading the Georgia Bulldogs to an undefeated record, Stetson Bennett would throw for over 4,000 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He would complete 68% of his passes, and once again, the Georgia Bulldogs would destroy the TCU Horned Frogs in the 2023 College Playoff National Championship.
All that for a drop of blood.
Now, through all of this, there was a lot of speculation about what Stetson Bennett's future was going to look like. And a lot of people that don't like him or the Georgia Bulldogs would commonly say that he's probably going to be selling insurance for the rest of his life, because at this point he's 25 years old and he doesn't necessarily possess the tools that you would expect in a first-round quarterback. On top of that, quarterbacks that are age 25 typically don't get drafted in the first round of the NFL draft because, well, historically, whenever an older quarterback does get drafted into the NFL, it doesn't really work out. And I think the last known case of a quarterback even older than Stetson Bennett getting drafted to the NFL was about a decade ago, or a little bit more than a decade ago, when Brandon Weeden was drafted by the Cleveland Browns. But with that being said, you could agree that this is a very crucial period of time for Stetson Bennett. He recently declined an invitation to the Senior Bowl, so one would assume that he is doing whatever it takes to make a push and convince teams that he is worth drafting with a day 3 pick pick, or if he's really lucky, a day 2 pick. But it seems like he's hit a little bit of a road bump on that road and on that journey to becoming drafted by an NFL team, which is the difference of thousands, if not millions of dollars if he plays the scenario outright. Because according to Mark Schlabach, former Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett, who led the Georgia Bulldogs to their second straight college football national championship earlier this month, was arrested on a misdemeanor public intoxication charge in Dallas on Sunday morning. In a statement to ESPN, a Dallas Police Department spokesperson said that officers responded to a report of a man banging on doors in the 1600 block of Tribeca Way at 7:10 a.m. East on Sunday morning. The preliminary investigation found when officers arrived that they located the man, Stetson Bennett, age 25, and determined he was intoxicated, the police statement said. Bennett was taken into custody, transported to the city detention center, and charged with public intoxication. Now, Bennett at this time couldn't be reached for comment, but this is definitely unique timing to be arrested for public intoxication. Look, at the end of the day, do I think it's the biggest deal on earth? Not really. I mean, there is a very funny video of Stetson Bennett getting tackled by the police.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I'm done! I'm done! Are you kidding me? I'm done! I didn't put your hand behind your back. You're supposed to stick me, anything like that, do you? Okay, well I gotta check just in case before I put you in my car.
And there is a lot of parallels to Baker Mayfield as well as a result of this, mainly because of Stetson Bennett's height and whatnot. I don't necessarily think a general manager is going to look at Stetson Bennett and say,
oh, this man was arrested for public intoxication. We're not going to draft him with a 5th or 6th round pick.
It's not like Stetson Bennett has a reputation of being a difficult person off of the field. It's definitely not the best look though during the pre-draft process, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of people could relate to this, where sometimes you just get way too hammered and sometimes you just do really stupid shit. Honestly, I could attest to it. I have definitely done some dumb stuff when I've had one too many. And I would say this is a way bigger deal, but it's not like Stetson Bennett got behind the wheel or put anyone's lives in danger. He was just wandering around at 4 a.m. drunk out of his mind, and then the police arrested him out of nowhere. So at the end of the day, do I think this is going to like hurt him very much? I mean, if you see more incidents like this occurring, then possibly, but at the end of the day, I think this is a relative non-factor in regards to the potential of him being drafted and whatnot, or what his future may be. Some people get way too drunk, some people get unlucky and get arrested for public intoxication while they're drunk. At the end of the day, I am keeping a close look at Stetson Bennett's career because it should be an interesting one. He's entering the NFL draft at the age of 25. He's not likely to go in the first round, but with what happened to Brock Purdy recently, I mean, anything could happen so long as you get drafted in the right situation. Let me know what you guys think about the situation in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.